What's up, guys? How you doing? I have been looking around for new games that I'm anticipating, and one title I just got. It's called Prototype for the 360. It's supposed to be a third-person action game where you get to explore New York City and steal people's genetic codes, and you can turn into them, I guess. It's like you're a shapeshifter. You have different forms. The military's fighting you. I'm going to show you the Xplay demo that's out there right now from G4 TV, but also I'm going to give you what I think about it while we're watching it. I'm doing this on my Wii because I can put it on my television, so hang on a second. Start the video that you can see on YouTube. Alright. This is on Xplay's podcast. You can watch this whenever you want, but I'll give you my take on it, so.
On Scarface, The World Is Yours, and Simpsons Hit and Run. But those titles couldn't possibly prepare you for their next project, Prototype. New York is in the middle of a war, and amnesiac Alex Mercer is caught in the crossfire. Armed with amazing abilities, it's up to you to decide how it all plays out. Joining us today is Radical Entertainment's Chris Ansell. Thank you so much for stopping by.
It's a pleasure.
Thanks for bringing Prototype. Now tell us a little bit about the elevator pitch of Prototype.
Prototype is an open-world action game set in 2008 in New York City. And so you get to play a brutal shapeshifter called Alex Mercer.
Now, what you notice is how nice the city looks. You probably can't tell with YouTube quality, but even with YouTube quality, this world looks pretty detailed in terms of what they added. It looks like the city of New York to me, and there's so many cars you can tell, and all those cars you can just trample over when you're in a certain form. I'll show you that a little later, but I think looking at this game, it's fair to assume, wow, that's a bunch of snow falling off my roof, holy cow. You can assume that this game is going to have some level of depth and detail, kind of like a Grand Theft Auto world, or if you played the Hulk game, which I never did, but if you played the Hulk game or Spider-Man games, it's that same feel. It looks kind of like it'll have those same type of gameplay elements, but with a next-gen touch, and it will feel a little more epic and action-packed. Let's play a little more of the video, and let me shut up here. Hang on.
And you can consume the bodies of anybody in New York City to obtain their DNA, their memory, their appearance, and essentially use those skills to consume and become, and basically cut your way to it.
Tell us a little bit about what we're seeing right now.
What you're seeing now is actually a 20% build of part of open world New York City. We're basically building New York City. We took 22,000 photographs to make sure we got this thing right.
22,000, that's
so we're
crazy.
a completely open world setting. And what you're seeing here is essentially Alex using incredible skills of locomotion to actually combine AI and locomotion and movement abilities, so you can actually get around the city as fast and as smoothly and swiftly as possible, because the enemies that will come after you are absolutely lethal.
So what did we see a little bit there? We saw his arms had transformed into blades slightly, and did we also see, was that him consuming the mass of somebody else that we saw?
Correct. He has basically, the whole engine of the game is that you have these incredible shape-shifting abilities, which means that from shape-shifting you can also make your body into incredible biological weapons. So you can weaponize yourself. But also through shape-shifting, you have attack powers, defense powers, sensory powers, and you can also, of course, consume and become anybody you see in the world. So as you basically consume them, you break their mass into your body, and you can then, of course, look like them, which gives you some great disguise gameplay opportunities.
Yeah, you mentioned disguise and sneaky elements of the game. If you were to be able to look like somebody else and be able to sneak up and maybe kill a few people inside the armed forces, that would be kind of cool if you ask me. If you could, you could take on their appearance and their form and just, walk into an army base. That'd be pretty cool if you ask me. But I notice how they have the blood style, like they have in Gears of War and newer games, where instead of a meter, it looks like a meterless game, and they just have blood all over the screen. And the more it fills up, the more damage you're taking. This form he's in right now, you probably can't see because of the terrible quality. I give you with shame, but he's in an armored state right now, and if you look at the video on YouTube, you can see all this in more detail, but he basically, the more you consume, the stronger he will become, and each form will become stronger, it looks like. So this armored form will have a thicker layer of armor, and you'll be able to literally smash anything you want. Like, you can run through a street full of cars, and they'll all go flying. It's pretty much like the Hulk, but I really think that this gameplay element, and it's not based off of a movie or a TV show, so it's much better, in my view, when you can use freedom and creativity right off the bat to make a new game.
And what form is he in currently?
He right now is actually in an armored form, which actually makes him, as he consumes people, he gets more dense.
Okay.
So basically things like cars, vehicles, if you run through them, as opposed to hyper parkour right over, you'll actually smash through them.
And
so as you consume, you get stronger,
missile.
and you actually gain more DNA and more abilities.
And how are you able to consume people? Do you need to get them into a private area, or can you just basically consume as many people as you can get your hands on?
The game is all about open world choice.
Okay.
Open world games really, you need to have huge amounts of choice. We want players to feel completely empowered.
Little
This is
children,
power
stop
fantasy.
watching.
So if you want to actually go all out and do a mission through absolute destruction,
Okay.
you actually can, and
Yeah,
you
like
can
me.
consume in public.
Absolute
but that
destruction.
will bring forces up against you, whether it's the Black Watch forces, whether it's the military forces, or the
Okay.
infected. Or you can actually play a way more stealthier disguise-based game and grab someone, go into a quiet corner where no one can see you, and then disguise from that point of view.
They still can't beat the
so tell me
hand,
a little bit
though.
about Blackwatch.
The hand will beat them.
Blackwatch are extremely dangerous, super secret arm of the military. They're
Okay.
actually way above the military and way above
Because you're
top
kind of
secret.
trashing the military a little bit right here.
But essentially, we do want the player to feel extremely powerful.
Okay.
So that's part of the game, is to basically kick lots of butt.
Yeah.